and grant me host privileges.
Sure.
You go to people and then click the three dots next to my name. It should allow you to do so.
Got it. Let's see. Co-host?
Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. It is officially 12 o'clock here on the West Coast, which means that it's 2 o'clock Central Time and 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you could join us for today's session. We're going to be talking through lead generation, specifically for withdrawn and expired listings. So we have Kathy here, one of our managing brokers here at Radius. And so she's going to be talking through some strategies and just a lot of really great information for today. And so we've got a jam-packed presentation and schedule. So I will let Kathy take over from here, and you guys are in great hands. Please feel free also to drop any questions, any comments in the chat whatsoever. So we'll be monitoring that throughout, and we'll make sure that we get to all of your questions as well. So
wonderful.
Kathy, take it away.
Thank you. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us today, now and in the future. So I am Kathy Arzad, your managing broker for Radius. These workshops that Dee and I present on a weekly basis are actually recorded. You're recording, Ela? Okay. And placed on our website in the Radius University. So today we're discussing expired and withdrawn listings as a generation source. So let's dive in. So what are they? What are expired and withdrawn listings? For anyone who doesn't know, an expired listing is a property that was on the market but didn't sell within that listing period. So it expired in the MLS. A withdrawn listing is different. So it's a property that was on the market, but it was taken off before it was sold and potentially before the listing would expire. So those are the two things we're going to be talking about today. It's a great lead source. So why prospect them, right? Number one, it's a great way to increase your inventory. It's an opportunity to learn more about your market just from doing the research that you need to do on each property. Owners of withdrawn and expired listings may still be motivated to sell, but might have become disillusioned with their current selling strategy or their agent. This could be due to various factors, such as the listing not attracting enough interest, either personal circumstances or even market conditions. So they might not be open, or they might be open to new approaches to selling, and they might want to reconsider going back on the market. So number four, withdrawn listings are not as obviously available as expireds. So fewer agents may be targeting them, which reduces competition. This can give you an advantage if you reach out and connect with the owners effectively. We're going to be talking about that in a second. Properties are often withdrawn from the market due to solvable issues like pricing, marketing strategies, or the condition of the home. This presents an opportunity for an agent who can come in with fresh ideas and a new perspective to turn the situation around. So think of it as an opportunity. And then, of course, timing. So owners that have withdrawn or maybe even expired, they may need more time to just reassess the situation and make improvements to their property. So if you establish a relationship with them during this period, you could be top of mind when they're ready to relist. Ethical considerations. So absolutely just be aware of any contractual obligations the seller might have with their existing or past agent, because we all know interfering with that contract between them could lead to ethical and legal issues for you. So you definitely don't want to do that. Know your MLS rules and regulations around this before going after this market. So here we go. We have a lot of information here, so bear with me. So preparation and research. So first of all, you want to compile a list. Use your MLS just to find recently expired listings. Focus on properties that meet your criteria, like location, price range, and property type. Absolutely research the properties. Understand what happened. Was it due to pricing? Was it marketing? Was it the condition of the property? Like, you can just do some research. Also know your market. So be prepared with current market trends, recent sales data, and competitive listings in the area. So this is the part where this is a benefit, right, to doing this kind of prospecting, because you're really going to dive deep into these properties, and you're probably going to find out some information about a neighborhood that you want to know more about anyway. This is just applicable activity that will help you learn. The second thing is initial contact. So you want to craft your message. We'll talk about how to craft your message a little bit later, because you would want to develop a script or a template for calls, emails, or even mailing letters. Your message should be empathetic, highlighting your understanding of their potential frustration, and just be respectful. So when you reach out, you want to contact, so this kind of applies to expired listings. So when you're reaching out, you definitely want to be aware that a ton of agents are reaching out to expired listings the very next hour after they've expired, or the next morning after they expire. So be aware that they're probably inundated with people. So that's also why you'd want to make sure you have a message crafted that's compelling, and it'll help you stand out. So under initial contact is also follow-up. So of course, if you don't get an immediate response, you need to plan a series of follow-ups. And so this is how you would want to make sure you have a mix. Email, phone call, either maybe direct mail, texting, like have your plan in place and plug these properties in. The next one is meeting and presentation. Of course, this is what you'd want to do is prepare a CMA. That's a comparative market analysis. So before meeting the homeowner, you already have an idea of how to support, your strategy for pricing and how to present it. And also figuring out how you're going to market the property. That's something you're going to want to think about. The presentation, you're scheduling a meeting to present your marketing strategy, share your analysis of why the property didn't sell, explain how you can address these issues. Again, I would not overpromise and underdeliver. Make sure that you can deliver on everything you're saying, because you don't want just to be the next realtor that didn't work out for them. So that's the presentation part. Also listening, this is a key part when you're presenting, is understanding their needs and concerns and what their motivations are. Really listen to what they need and tailor your strategy to address those. The listing agreement, of course, you want to discuss terms. Now this is going in, say they want to sign the agreement. This is then similar. You want to make sure though that you're being very clear about what your plan is to market their property, because they probably are dated from before. So if you had just listened to all of their issues and their pain points from before, you can address that immediately in that listing agreement and the marketing and selling of it. So that's how are you going to enhance the listing? How are you going to do tweak what they had received before from a realtor who probably did a great job, or did a fine job. So you want to figure out what happened, what was the marketing strategy and if that past realtor did a bad job. It's a professional thing. Don't badmouth that person. Just go forward with what are you going to do, and how do you do things differently to get things sold in today's market. Always talk about today's market. So as part of that marketing and selling part, you want to make sure that you understand you're in sync with the communication method. So you want to find out, how do you want to stay informed? What is your preferred method? It's not what is my preferred method, right? So you want to keep that seller informed of all of the marketing efforts that you're doing, all of the showings and the feedback and any offers, of course. I mean, that's our goal and our responsibilities. But then, so negotiation and closing, we all know this. We receive offers, we negotiate, and we close on the sale. And then, I mean, if everything goes well, of course, that would be the idea. And then follow up, of course. So post-sale follow-up is key, because this is actually a fantastic client to get those referral people from. So you came in as like the third realtor, or whatever is that saying. You came in as the first or second realtor that they've used. And so if you actually get them to the goal line, which is selling their property, they are going to sing your praises. They're going to be the best referral client, past client you've ever had. So this is a key thing, is going through and giving them, the best service you can. And that includes this post-sale follow-up. Most agents don't do this. So you follow up after the sale, make sure they're, everything is good, they don't need anything. And, something that a little technique or a trick that I learned years ago from an agent, was that what they do is every year, like anniversary of the selling of the home, they would follow up with that, with that past client, just to find out how it's going. But then also right before tax season, they would send just another copy of the closing statement, or the HUD-1, the closing statement of the property, because if the person just bought the house, they're going to be needing that information for their taxes, and they probably misplaced it because they were moving and everything else. So it's just a little trick of how to have a reason to touch base. Okay. Tools and resources. So of course, you're using your MLS for the listing data. That's how you're going to get information about expireds. So expireds are easier to find because they come up in the hot sheet, right? So you're in that routine, that best practice routine of checking the MLS every single morning, looking at the hot sheet that you've particularly targeted, you've filtered, and it's your target market, right? And so you see the expireds and you think, oh my gosh, that's in my neighborhood that I target. That's my farming area. So you go after them. You put them in that bucket of, okay, this is the expired. Maybe give them a call. Don't expect them to answer. Obviously, don't blow up their phone, because they're getting a million phone calls from people. So now differentiate yourself. What are you going to do? Okay, you could, if you happen to know that it's owner occupied, you could send them something like a delivery of some kind. You could drop off a brochure. Do something to get in front of them right away, because expireds, there is that time sensitivity there. Now, withdrawn listings, it takes a little bit longer. It's not as easy to find that information right in the MLS. So that's diving in and really looking at the different status changes of the day or of the week, and go through and see what was withdrawn. And if you happen to know about that listing already, great. So that might be a little bit more few and far between, because withdrawn could mean that it could mean that they still have an existing current listing agreement. So that would be a longer range sort of plan, but it's a very low, because it's a longer range sales plan, prospecting plan. Not many agents are going after those. So if you are set up with your CRM, you're set up with your system as far as follow-up, that could be very key, and that could differentiate you. So realist tax records. This is where you're going to also find information about the property, and you can find out how many owners have had the property, where exactly it's located, the survey, the plat map. You can see if there's a mortgage on it. You can see all these kind of things in our tax records, which technically is public records, but realtors have just a really awesome system, the tax system, for seeing that information and pulling it up. The general public doesn't have that information, so that differentiates us for sure. And it's connected with the MLS. The CRM, that's a customer relationship manager. You should have one. It's really great to utilize this just to keep track of your contacts, communications, and follow-ups. Marketing materials, of course, you need to have a professional marketing like packet already included, including your listing presentations, the market analysis that you're going to do for them, and any sort of online tools that you use to market their property, and maybe even have a special listing presentation that is just for an expired or a withdrawn. So you can, because they do have special needs, right? They might be jaded from being on the market before and not selling. They may need just the reason we say empathy, have some empathy when you're speaking to these people, because they may not realize that their home was overpriced, and they just need some, some gentle sort of data. They need some data, and they need some kindness when you're speaking to them. The education and training, this is, part of it, this course that we're doing right now, but you want to continuously improve your skills and knowledge, and staying up to date on market trends. So always be a student. Okay. I have a bunch of info for you in case you're wondering, well, how the heck would I find seller contact information for an expired or withdrawn? Some MLSs allow, like a seller name and phone number. I mean, I've seen that in some, but really in a highly competitive market, I don't know why someone would, want to put their seller's information there. But that would be, of course, probably the easiest way to see it. Of course.
Can I jump in and suggest? Okay, so I'm from Florida, and here we actually, on our MLS, I used to pay for this service, but a few months, like last month. So it's called Forewarn, FOREWARN.
I love that.
Yes. You can literally put their name and like the city, maybe if you have like an idea of their age range, and that'll pull up their phone numbers for you. And it'll pull up if they have any records or what type of car they drive, all types of stuff.
Oh man, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. That's good if you
Mm-hmm.
have some information, but see how if you
So
had
if
no
you go
idea
on, if you go on the,
that could be
if you
tricky.
go on the so if you go on the property appraiser's website, you'll be able to pull up the client's name, right? So then you go back to Forewarn and you put the name and you put maybe like a city, so it can narrow it down a little bit. You should have a zip code, so you can narrow it down a little bit based on what you found on tax records, and then it should pull up the number for them, and it'll have their address, so you could verify if that's them or not.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's absolutely a great resource. I love Forewarn.
Mm-hmm.
I use it a lot. Yeah,
I don't know if your MLS includes it. I know that Florida we do, but if not, it's $20 a month, and it's totally worth it. Even when you're like, meeting a client for the first time, you never know who you're meeting. This will literally tell you if they've ever had a record in any state that they've been in.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think many of the associations have Forewarn. I have it through probably 3 different associations in Texas and Florida. So yeah, I would look into that for sure if you don't have it already. That's great. Thank you, Karina.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, MLS, public records. Public records includes the property tax reports, property deeds. That's at the county clerk or recorder's office. You could find that information if you're really diving in and needing some deeper info. Social media and internet searches. I mean, that's easy too, in case the person who owns it has a business and is kind of well known. You could easily find it that way. Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, something like that. Real estate websites. So you could see if Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com has any information. Now, you may find if this was ever a FSBO, a for sale by owner, then you would be able to find the seller's contact information pretty easily. So networking. So if you know the previous listing agent, you could reach out to them and just find out, hey, what happened? Why did this expire? Why is this withdrawn? I mean, that works in some markets, right? Network with neighbors. So if you're local, and you heard, through the grapevine that this house is owned by such and such, if you happen to already know that area really well, you could network that way and get their information and find out how to reach them. Sending them a letter, that works. It absolutely works. You can, because you would have their if they didn't live at the house, you would have their mailing address. So I've done that before. And again, that's kind of a longer term sort of prospecting range. But it works if you can't reach them in any other way. Third-party services. So here's they don't, I don't mention in this the forewarn, but that's great for also like the white pages. I don't know if you've heard of that, whitepages.com. I used to use that. Forewarn is really awesome if you're doing a quick background check, just to find out if they're a criminal or not. So that is very useful for buyers. I generally use that for buyers. But anyway, so you can get a subscription service that helps you get just a bulk of expired listing sellers and contacts. And also, oh yeah, I just got distracted by the chat. So those subscription services could include Redx, Vulcan 7, an espresso agent. I've used Vulcan 7. Has anyone used any of these before? Oh, you have, Elizabeth?
Excuse me, 2 of my agents use Vulcan 7. It's okay, but just fair warning, a lot of those contacts are recycled over and over again.
Super old.
Yeah. So you might not get the most recent contact information for them. Just heads up.
Yeah. So, and then also you have to be cognizant of the do not call registry, and any of your local real estate advertising rules in any of this. So make sure that you're being respectful and ethical. Okay, so here's a script. So you could use this for an email or for a call, but basically these are the elements that you want to have: your introduction, empathy and value proposition, have that at the top. Offer help, engage, listen, call to action, have to have a call to action, and a closing. So for an example, like your subject line, a fresh start for your property, and put the property address, right? So if you're calling, it's like, hello, Mr. Roberts, this is Kathy Arzed with Radius. I hope I'm not calling at a bad time. Immediately start off with that. I recently noticed your property at 1234 Firebird Lane was withdrawn. I can only imagine that this decision wasn't easy and you might be reevaluating your next steps. Many homeowners decide to withdraw their listings for various reasons, whether it's seeking a new approach or needing a break from selling. What's important is not the setback, but how you move forward from here. I specialize in helping sellers to rejuvenate their selling strategy and get back on the market with a fresh perspective. My approach include your perspective, what your selling approach is, tailored to what your property needs to stand out and attract buyers. Could I ask you why you withdrew your property? And then just listen. Be very careful to listen. The call to action would be, would you be open to a brief meeting with me to discuss a tailored strategy for your property? I believe with the right approach, we can address any challenges and work towards achieving your selling goals. I'm here to provide support and expertise no matter what decision you make. So that's an example of a script. I would definitely recommend not, if you're not a script person, I get it, I'm not a script person either, but it's important to have these elements included. So write in your own voice, just write a script and practice it a few times. And so then it becomes second nature, right? So you don't sound like you're scripted. You don't sound like you're a robot. You just want to have it be conversational, but in your own voice, but also not missing these things, right? Really listen to their reasons for doing, their reasons for withdrawing, or their reasons that maybe why their property didn't sell. I'm sure they have an idea. So that would be the way to get that first meeting, because that's obviously the goal of any sort of first step you take, is get the meeting. So any questions? I'm going to open the floor for questions or comments. Anybody want to share an experience that they've had with getting an expired listing to list? Any success stories?
I would say, because majority of agents are either going to call or email or text, is just go to the property. Just go there, talk to them, just have a normal
knock on the door.
Yep.
That's good. That's a good tip, because you're right. Everybody calls and then they start to turn off their phone. You know, that's not a good idea. Has anyone had any luck with a withdrawn listing that you'd like to talk about? Has anyone ever explored that? Yeah, I feel like it's an opportunity for sure. No one's going after these withdrawn listings. Now, if you're concerned that you don't want to reach out to a seller that might still be in a listing contract, I mean, that is a valid concern, right? So what you might want to do is include, if it is a property that you are, that is in your like desired market, your desired neighborhood, your desired price point, like you could really sell this, okay? That's when you'd want to go after this in this way. Just include them in your next sort of geographic farming prospecting push. And you do that, when you do that, you aren't violating any of those ethical concerns as far as the rules and regulations with your MLS, because you are not necessarily targeting a single one that you know is, somebody already has listed. You're reaching out, you're canvassing an entire area. So that is allowed, that is okay. So that would be an idea. But yeah. So I think this is a good one to put in your hip pocket. And I'm really appreciative that you guys came to the room today, and this will be recorded. This will be in the Radius University. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathy. You guys have her contact information there. So if you have any questions or comments, if you have any feedback on how we can improve these rooms, how we can improve your experience, what topics you'd like to see us talk about, we're always here. We're always open to getting that feedback and constantly, bringing new sessions and bringing new content for you guys. And so Kathy is a tremendous speaker. So thank you, Kathy, for your time and your information today. This was very educational. And thank you, everyone, for showing up today. I hope that this was helpful for you. And as always, we host rooms every week, all throughout the week. And so please feel free to jump in, hop into a conversation, hop into a room whenever you're available. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Wednesday. And if there are no further questions, we will conclude for today.
I see there's a question. There is a question. It's asked, Sean's asking the name of the service for one. And then I was also curious about the website
thank you, Athena.
Pardon?
I said, thank you for noticing that. I didn't even notice the chat.
Oh, no worries. No
busy.
worries. And then I was also curious to know the website for checking if they have a criminal record. I mean, that's just.
Oh, let me put that in the, this is forewarn.com.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And yeah, you're welcome. It's absolutely worth like $20 a month, or I think somebody's told me that. It's free. In so many associations offer it as a free service because it is essential, I feel, for real-time safety. You want to know who you're going to meet. And this is a great way to keep you.
Great for dating also.
I know. It is.
No, I think you're onto something, because
Yes.
if you meet someone just out and about, you want to know that they're not,
Exactly.
Yes. And I would actually say anyone that's coming to your house to work, like a house cleaner or something. I mean,
Right.
I would use it for anything these days. It really is helpful. So hopefully your association has it as a free benefit. So
Absolutely.
Sean, you were asking about the name of the service. Was that the Forewarn? Is that what you were asking about?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Excellent.
Awesome.
We got
All
that
right,
2-in-1 question.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, absolutely awesome. I appreciate that. And please do reach out if you have any questions or anything else. This will be placed on Radius University, so you can refer back to it. I think it's a great thing just to have in your back pocket as far as how to how to move forward with these things that you may not really be working. It's just a way to increase your inventory. And I wanted to just say that our next one next week is on managing a listing from day one to closing. So we're going to just really get into the details on managing a listing. And that is on Thursday, the 15th at 2 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. So hopefully you can join us for that. And yeah, thank you so much, Ela.
Of course,
it.
always. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.